Do you know someone who works 10, 12 hours a day? They head to work in the morning, take on side jobs in the evening, and even work through the weekends yet. After more than a decade, they're still stuck living paycheck to paycheck, constantly borrowing to make ends meet. And then there are those old classmates who weren't particularly outstanding in school, nor more hardworking than you, but today they own their own businesses, travel every month, and enjoy financial abundance. The difference isn't about hard work, nor is it about luck. The real issue is that you're trying to do everything alone, while they leverage other people's resources to move faster and go further. As I've often said, the poor work hard for money, while the rich build systems so money works for them. In this video, you won't just hear empty theories. I'll share 12 practical strategies to leverage people, capital, credibility, and technology, the same approaches millionaires and billionaires use every single day. You don't need money to get started, but you do need the right mindset. Watch until the end, because just one idea could change the course of your life. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and get ready to start your journey in entrepreneurship and wealth building by mastering the art of leverage. Break free from the self-reliant mindset that keeps you trapped the harder you try. We were taught from childhood that constant effort will eventually pay off and that self-reliance is a noble virtue. But in the world of finance and business, if you cling to the belief that you must do everything yourself, you will always have just enough to survive, but never enough to thrive. Let's face reality. Millions of people work 8 to 10 hours a day, sometimes even putting in unpaid overtime, yet still end up in the red at the end of the month. They are busy, they work hard, they sacrifice their time, but they are not moving forward. Why? Because they rely on only one resource, themselves. The poor often fear borrowing, fear asking for help, and fear being perceived as dependent. They believe that only those with capital or assets can leverage resources. But the truth is, successful people never walk alone. They don't do everything. They build networks and create leverage systems. Take a few examples. Elon Musk doesn't personally write the code for Tesla or assemble SpaceX rockets. He hires the best minds in the world. Steve Jobs wasn't an engineer, but he had vision and partnered with people capable of executing it. Mark Zuckerberg didn't build Facebook alone. It started with a team of friends who understood technology, product, and market dynamics. Leverage is not weakness. Leverage is strategic intelligence. You don't need to excel at everything. You just need to recognize that someone out there excels at what you lack, and the two of you can exchange value. Wealth building is not a solitary game. It's an ecosystem play. It's time to step out of the lone wolf struggle and start mastering the art of leverage to accelerate your growth. Why don't the wealthy go it alone? First, in today's modern economy, effort does not always translate into results. Millions work tirelessly 8 to 10 hours a day, save every penny, avoid mistakes, and live frugally. Yet after years, they still cannot accumulate real assets. They have just enough to cover living expenses, nothing extra to invest, and are entirely dependent on their monthly paycheck. In contrast, there are those who start with nothing, no impressive degrees, no powerful connections, yet within a few short years, they've built businesses, investment portfolios, and automated cash flows. They can travel while their business keeps running, support their families, and still have time for personal growth. The difference is not intelligence. It's not sheer hard work. It's in how they apply leverage. The wealthy understand one fundamental principle. Financial success doesn't come from working alone. It comes from the ability to harness other people's resources effectively. Second, leverage, the true essence of wealth. In economics and finance, financial leverage is a central concept. Originally, the term came from engineering, meaning the use of a tool to amplify force. In finance, it refers to expanding the scale of impact through borrowed capital. But today, the concept has broadened far beyond money. You can leverage time, skills, systems, reputation, and platforms. Brian Tracy, one of the world's leading entrepreneurship trainers, once said, "Poor people use muscle, the middle class use their minds, and the rich use systems." Robert Kiyosaki, author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, emphasizes that the wealthy don't work for money. They use leverage to make money work for them. With the same amount of time, one person can achieve 10 times more than another, not because they are stronger or smarter, but because they know how to amplify their results through leverage. Third, real-world proof. Successful people never walk alone. The history of business and investing proves that no truly great achievement is done in isolation. Steve Jobs didn't personally design every element of the iPhone. Elon Musk wasn't the chief engineer for every Tesla model. Jeff Bezos didn't pack and ship each book when Amazon was small. What they share in common is the ability to build teams, hire the right talent, establish the right systems, and connect to the right resources, creating exponential growth. They don't do everything themselves, but they build mechanisms that ensure everything gets done. In The Millionaire Fast Lane, author MJ DeMarco makes a powerful observation. Wealth comes from scale and leverage. If you only do what one person can do, you will only achieve the results of one person. But if you can harness the capacity of 100 people, your results can exceed 100-fold. Fourth, the common misconception. Doing everything yourself is more noble. From a young age, many people are taught that doing everything alone is the only way to earn true respect. They hesitate to ask for help, fear appearing dependent, and avoid seeking assistance to avoid being judged. This mindset traps them in a cycle of doing everything themselves, never expanding and never utilizing external resources. Meanwhile, the successful understand that leveraging others is not weakness, it is strategy. They are willing to borrow capital when they see a good opportunity. They hire when the workload exceeds their capacity. They learn from those more skilled instead of fumbling alone. Fifth, leveraging from zero. If you have no capital, no experience, and no network, you need leverage even more. When you have nothing to lose, you have everything to learn and build. Change your question from "what do I have" to "what can I leverage?" Because what defines your future is not your starting point, but how you act once you have the right awareness. One of the most common mistakes made by new entrepreneurs or those starting their wealth building journey is believing they must handle everything themselves, from brainstorming ideas, creating content, doing marketing, making sales, managing customer service, to processing orders. They think this will save money. In reality, they're draining their most valuable resources, time and energy. The poor try to do everything. The wealthy focus on what they do best and hire others to handle the rest. If your strength is product development, let someone else write the ad copy. If you excel at sales, don't waste hours figuring out photo editing or video production. You don't need to be a multi-skilled superhero. You need a flexible team that amplifies your strengths. Look at those who've succeeded. Timothy Ferriss, author of The 4-Hour Workweek, shared that he hired virtual assistants from the Philippines at low cost to handle administrative tasks, freeing him to focus on building his personal brand and producing high-quality content. Tony Robbins has over 100 team members supporting various projects, from content management and event coordination to customer care, so he can focus on his core strength, presenting and inspiring. Start small by outsourcing minor tasks through platforms like Fiverr, Upwork, Vland, or Fivescom. Build win-win collaborations with students or beginners in the field. They need practical experience, and you need support at a reasonable cost. Maximize your personal skill set by concentrating on the activities that generate the highest income. You may not have the budget to hire full-time staff, but you can always bring in temporary, part-time, or freelance help. Every hour you buy from someone else is an extra hour you can invest in higher impact, higher value work. Strategy number 2, leverage existing ideas. It's not about being first, it's about being the best. Many people believe that to succeed, they must come up with a completely original million-dollar idea. In reality, ideas themselves have little value. It's the execution of those ideas that creates wealth. Successful entrepreneurs are not always the first to think of something. They are the ones who execute it the right way, at the right time, in the right market. Robert Kiyosaki has emphasized, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. Learn how to make the wheel turn faster. Consider the most successful models around the world. Facebook was not the first social network. Facebook existed long before it. But Facebook was more optimized, more user-friendly, and more efficient. Grab learned from Uber's model, but adapted it to the Southeast Asian market, enabling cash payments, supporting drivers without smartphones, and integrating delivery and e-wallet services. Many thriving coffee shops don't succeed because they serve a completely unique beverage. They win because they refine a familiar model with distinctive spaces, creative menus, and memorable service styles. A YouTuber doesn't have to invent a brand new topic. They can take an existing one and present it with their own unique style, voice, and perspective. Leveraging an idea does not mean copying. It means learning, improving, and personalizing. Just like in music, the same chords can create a new hit when arranged differently. How to apply this strategy immediately. 1. Research the market and study successful models from local startups to global products and viral campaigns. 2. Analyze their strengths, weaknesses, and gaps. Where can you do better? Which specific audience can you serve more effectively? 3. Focus on improvement. Remix the model, innovate the delivery, enhance the user experience, refine the messaging, and add your personal signature. 4. Ask the reverse question. If you were a customer, what would you want more from this model? Creativity isn't always about inventing something no one has ever imagined. It's about doing the familiar in a way no one has done before. If you wait for a genius idea before starting, you might wait forever. But if you learn from proven successes and execute them in a better, more tailored way, you'll already be ahead of 90% of people. Strategy number 3, leverage established brands. Shortcut your way to credibility and revenue. Building a reputable brand can take 3 to 5 years, sometimes even a decade. But you can leverage the brand power of others to fast-track trust and accelerate sales through franchise models or by becoming an authorized distributor. Smart entrepreneurs don't always start from scratch. They attach themselves to strong, trusted brands and operate like strategic satellites orbiting a powerful hub. A brand is an invisible guarantee. Customers don't always buy because of you. They buy because they already trust the brand you represent. How to apply this strategy immediately? 1. Research reputable brands in industries you're passionate about and knowledgeable in, from food, cosmetics, education, and services to digital franchise models. 2. Choose the right model. You might start as a lower-tier reseller or affiliate to learn the ropes, then gradually scale up. 3. Understand the terms. Know exactly what brand assets you can use, the franchise fees, sales commitments, and operational support offered. 4. Learn while you earn. While representing a brand, observe and document how the parent company builds its image, markets its products, and serves its customers. These lessons will equip you to one day build your own brand. Robert Kiyosaki has often stressed that smart people know how to leverage intangible assets, and brand equity is one of the most valuable. By leveraging an established brand, you can enter the market with a passport of trust that took someone else years to build. Starting with someone else's brand doesn't make you less of an entrepreneur. It gives you the opportunity to step into the market with a head start, backed by credibility and recognition that would otherwise take years to earn. Strategy number 4, leverage relationships. Your network is your net worth. You're not wealthy because you're isolated. One of the harshest truths in business and wealth building is that success often comes not from what you know, but from who knows you. Relationships are an invisible yet incredibly powerful form of leverage. They can open doors that neither skills nor capital alone could unlock. No matter how talented you are, if you walk alone, your progress will be limited. But if you walk alongside the right people, you can go further and faster. Consider the real-world examples. Someone without an impressive degree lands a position at a major company because of a trusted introduction, and from there accelerates their career. A startup founder secures funding not solely because of a great business model, but because a mutual contact connects them directly to an angel investor. A handmade product seller increases sales fivefold after one Facebook influencer shares their work. Elon Musk doesn't operate alone. He maintains relationships with top investors from his PayPal days, leading aerospace engineers, and policymakers who support clean energy initiatives. His network is stronger than any resume could be. How to apply this strategy immediately? 1. Shift your mindset about networking. It's not meaningless small talk. It's a critical survival skill in the 21st century. 2. Give before you take. Offer value first, whether through your skills, knowledge, or genuine support. Value has a way of coming back. 3. Engage in communities and industry events. Conferences, seminars, and niche groups are where you meet like-minded people who share your audience and objectives. 4. Maintain relationships, don't just collect them. Follow up periodically, share useful resources, and make introductions that help others. Relationships grow stronger when nurtured over time. Dave Ramsey often emphasizes that personal finance is 80% behavior and only 20% knowledge. And one of the most critical behaviors successful people master is building and maintaining networks, treating them as priceless assets. You can start with nothing financially, but if you have a large and high-quality network, you'll never truly be alone. The right connection at the right time can change the entire trajectory of your life. Strategy number 5, leverage money. The wealthy don't use their own capital. Most people fear debt. From a young age, we're taught that debt is inherently bad, that a debt-free life is the definition of happiness. While this may be true when it comes to borrowing for personal consumption, for the wealthy, debt is not a burden. It's a lever for building assets. Dave Ramsey, famous for his philosophy of avoiding bad debt, has also stated that if you don't understand the difference between consumer debt and investment debt, you're denying yourself one of the most powerful tools in finance. Consumer debt is borrowing to buy things that don't generate income: a phone, a motorbike, a vacation. Investment debt is borrowing to acquire income-generating assets, opening a cafe, importing products to resell, or purchasing real estate that produces rental income and appreciates over time. Large corporations like Apple and Amazon use massive amounts of borrowed capital to scale. At one point, Amazon's debt-to-equity ratio exceeded 2.0, meaning they borrowed twice the amount of their actual equity. That capital was not wasted. It funded warehouse expansions, logistics investments, operational optimization, and ultimately higher revenue. The wealthy rarely use their own money. They use the bank's money, investors' money, or even customers' money, as long as that capital can generate positive cash flow. Another practical example is using an interest-free credit card with a 55-day grace period to purchase inventory, raw materials, or run advertising campaigns. If you manage cash flow well, you can generate sales, recover capital, and pay the balance before interest applies, essentially using money at no cost. How to apply this strategy? 1. Build your credit reputation. Pay on time. Maintain a clean credit history, even if it's just a small limit credit card. 2. Clearly differentiate between debt types. Only borrow when the goal is to create cash flow greater than the interest expense. 3. Start small. Raise capital from friends, family through rotating capital pools, or use crowdfunding if your product is unique. 4. Negotiate with suppliers. Request extended payment terms of 15 or 30 days to give yourself extra time to turn over inventory before paying for it. Robert Kiyosaki often shares that he prefers borrowing millions from banks because he knows how to turn those loans into assets, with the tenants of his properties ultimately paying the interest. Financial mastery is not about avoiding debt at all cost. It's about knowing when to borrow, how much to borrow, and how to transform that borrowed capital into greater value. Strategy number 6, leverage time. Don't learn everything from your own mistakes. Time is the fairest asset in the world. Everyone has the same 24 hours each day. But the wealthy don't spend that time slowly figuring everything out step by step. They leverage other people's time by learning from the experiences, lessons, and mistakes that have already been paid for. Robert Kiyosaki has often said that you cannot build wealth if you insist on making every mistake yourself. Wise entrepreneurs know that instead of spending 5 years in trial and error, you can compress that learning into 5 months by leveraging the time of those who have gone before you. Consider this example. Someone wants to open a cafe but has no prior experience. Instead of opening one blindly, failing, and closing after a few months, they could learn directly from a mentor who has successfully operated 5 cafes. Simple advice on location selection, menu design, and staff management could save them from costly mistakes. Or take a young content creator who wants to build a YouTube channel. Learning everything from scratch might take 1 to 2 years to understand the algorithm. But by investing in a quality course or partnering with someone who has already succeeded, they could accelerate their progress in just a few weeks. Leveraging time is not cheating. It's a strategic investment in proven knowledge and systems. How to apply this strategy immediately. 1. Be selective in learning. Invest in books, courses, workshops, and mentorship programs. Ideally, those with deep, specialized expertise. 2. Find a practical mentor. They don't need to be famous. They just need to be a few steps ahead of you and have already done what you want to do. 3. Build a collaborative team. Instead of doing everything yourself, partner with like-minded individuals to divide tasks and move faster together. 4. Delegate strategically. Combine this with leveraging people. Strategy number 1. You don't need to master every technical skill, but you should know who can do it faster and better than you. In business and investing, time is not just money. It's speed to market, the ability to seize opportunities before competitors, and the power to set higher prices. Successful people don't move faster because they're inherently better. They move faster because they take the smart shortcuts by leveraging the time and experience of those who came before them. Strategy number 7, leverage technology, the most democratic lever of our time. In the past, only large corporations had access to cutting-edge technology. Today, AI, software tools, and automation have become equalizers, powerful levers available to anyone, even those just starting out. With the right mindset, you can begin from zero and still use technology to build your own empire. Robert Kiyosaki has noted that the wealthy don't necessarily work harder than the poor. They simply work differently, using different tools. Technology allows you to accomplish in 1 hour what might otherwise take 10, and to automate processes that would otherwise require hiring staff to manage manually. Most importantly, successful people are not afraid of technology. They experiment, make mistakes, and optimize continuously. Those who fail often avoid technology, convincing themselves it's too difficult, too technical, or too risky. How to apply this strategy immediately? 1. Experiment with free tools. Try platforms like Canva for design, ChatGPT for ideation and copywriting, CapCut for video editing, Notion for workflow management, and Google Workspace for collaboration. 2. Commit to continuous learning. Every new tech skill you acquire shortens the gap between you and the successful. 3. Stay ahead of trends. AI and automation are no longer the future. They are the present. The slower you adapt, the further your competitors pull ahead. Elon Musk didn't create the world's leading electric car company just because he had a big idea. He leveraged technology to turn that idea into reality. You can do the same if you learn to use technology to scale your operations. cut costs, and accelerate your speed to market. Strategy number 8, leverage other people's credibility. Compress 5 years of trust building into weeks. If you're new in the market, no one knows who you are, how good you are, or whether you can be trusted. Building credibility from scratch can take 3 to 5 years, sometimes longer. But there's a way to shorten that process to just weeks or even days. Leverage someone else's credibility. Credibility is an intangible yet immensely powerful asset. A highly trusted individual can sell without advertising, raise capital without lengthy persuasion, and open doors to opportunities others could never reach. The wealthy rarely build credibility entirely on their own. They borrow it from brands, collaborators, and strategic partners to move faster. Real-world examples: a seller launching a new product with no personal brand teams up with a KOL, key opinion leader, or KOC, key opinion consumer, for a review. When consumers see someone they already trust using the product, they transfer that trust to you, even if they've never heard of you before. Or consider a founder raising capital without prior startup experience. By bringing a well-known advisor on board as a shareholder, their credibility with investors instantly rises. How to apply this strategy immediately? 1. Partner with credible figures in your industry. Invite them as strategic partners, advisors, or collaborators. 2. Exchange value. Instead of paying upfront, offer your skills to support their projects, share profits, or work for free in exchange for the opportunity to be associated with them. 3. Work within reputable organizations. This not only builds your skills, but also allows you to carry the brand's reputation into your own portfolio when you eventually branch out. 4. Be strategic in your connections. Don't just chase the most famous name. Choose someone whose audience or credibility aligns directly with your market. Borrowing credibility is not riding coattails. It's a smart communication strategy. If you provide real value, the relationship becomes a win-win. But if you only aim to borrow fame without substance, the lack of authenticity will be exposed quickly and could backfire. So, when starting from zero, don't shout, "I'm great, trust me." Let others say it for you, people who already have the trust and attention of the market. Strategy number 9, leverage distribution channels. Stand on the shoulders of giants. One of the biggest mistakes new entrepreneurs make is believing that in order to sell, they must build everything from scratch: their own website, their own team, their own operational systems. While having these in place can be valuable, it's not necessary to start from zero. The wealthy rarely build every component themselves. They know how to leverage existing platforms to accelerate growth. A distribution channel is the bridge between your product or service and your customers. Instead of spending months building brand awareness, running ads, and trying to drive traffic to a brand new website, you can tap into platforms that already have millions of active buyers every day. Large companies have used this strategy for decades, partnering with established distribution systems to access their teams, warehouses, and sales networks. Apple, for example, doesn't open retail stores in every single country. Instead, they work with authorized distributors to do it for them. How to apply this strategy immediately? 1. Research the right platforms for your product or service, and if you sell physical products, start with e-commerce marketplaces. If you offer services, list on freelance platforms. If you teach, use online education marketplaces. 2. Optimize your listings, craft compelling descriptions, use professional images, and build strong reviews to stand out in a crowded space. 3. Partner with resellers and affiliates. Expand your reach by working with agents, collaborators, or resellers who can cover markets you don't directly operate in. 4. Build your own brand over time. In the early stages, leverage the traffic and trust of existing platforms. Once successful, transition to building your own direct channels. Jeff Bezos, founder of Amazon, built a platform where millions of small businesses leverage his distribution network to sell products. This proves that leveraging distribution is not a tactic for the weak. It's a deliberate, strategic choice for smart entrepreneurs. When you stand on the shoulders of giants, you can see further, move faster, and compete in markets that once seemed unreachable. Strategy number 10, leverage other people's cash flow. Earn first, pay later. There's a crucial financial mindset that the wealthy understand deeply, but the poor often overlook. You don't need to have money in your pocket to start a business, as long as you know how to cycle cash flow from others. This is a more advanced form of leveraging money, but it's not about bank loans or personal debt. Instead, it's about using temporary cash flow from customers, suppliers, or partners to create value, and then paying them back later. Amazon is a classic example. When a customer places an order, Amazon collects payment immediately, but often doesn't pay its suppliers for 30 to 60 days. During that time, Amazon uses the cash to invest in warehouses, operations, advertising, or short-term financial activities, expanding its system without putting up its own capital. Jeff Bezos calls this deliberate negative working capital a business model where the company collects money before paying expenses, yet the cash flow remains positive. Real-world examples include a construction contractor requiring a 50% deposit from the client to purchase materials and pay labor before work begins. A designer charging 30-50% upfront to start a project, then using that advance to hire subcontractors or reinvest in tools. The dropshipping model, where you sell products, collect payment from customers, and only then purchase the items from suppliers to ship directly to the buyer. How to apply this strategy immediately? 1. Design a business model where cash inflows arrive before outflows. Request deposits, break payments into milestones, or structure phased billing. 2. Negotiate delayed payment terms with suppliers. You see, even an extra 7 days can significantly improve your cash flow cycle. 3. Use customer cash flow to scale. Instead of borrowing, pre-sell, or launch early offers to fund growth from within. 4. Be transparent and build trust. Because you are holding other people's money temporarily, trust is your most critical currency. Robert Kiyosaki often emphasizes that the wealthy don't use their own money to get rich. They use the money, time, and trust of others to build assets. So, instead of saving every penny until you've accumulated enough capital, start with one simple question. Can I design my cash flow so that my customer or partner pays me first? If the answer is yes, you've already stepped into a higher league of financial thinking. Strategy number 11, leverage vision and information. See further through someone else's eyes. In today's world, information is gold, but vision is diamond. Those who can spot a trend before it becomes mainstream gain a decisive advantage, often becoming the winners in the financial game. The good news is, you don't have to be an expert to have foresight. You just need to know how to borrow vision from those ahead of you and tap into information that's already been filtered and validated. The wealthy don't always start research from zero. They leverage analyses, forecasts, and insights from organizations or individuals who have already done the heavy lifting. They don't reinvent the wheel. They drive it faster and farther. Real-world examples. An individual investor follows Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett's investment fund, to see which stocks or sectors they're buying into, gaining clues about emerging opportunities. A startup founder with no budget for market research studies free reports from McKinsey, Deloitte, or uses tools like Google Trends to identify shifts in consumer behavior. By leveraging the vision and market intelligence of others, you can make better, faster, and more profitable decisions without spending years or millions to gather the data yourself. Strategy number 12, leverage emotions and storytelling. Connect beyond price. Logic may persuade the mind, but emotion moves the heart. In marketing, fundraising, customer persuasion, and personal branding, emotion often has more power than price. Successful entrepreneurs don't just talk about their products, They tell the story behind them. They don't simply present information, they share a journey. And they understand that when told effectively, a story can borrow the emotions of others to generate trust, support, and action. Real-world examples. Major brands like Dove, Coca-Cola, and Nike rarely advertise with technical specifications. Instead, they tell stories of self-confidence, the desire to win, family bonds, and cherished memories. A startup raising capital doesn't just present financial projections. They share why they founded the company, the problems they faced, and their vision to create positive change. An online seller gains loyal customers by sharing their personal struggle, working tirelessly to support a child, earning trust that money can't buy. Storytelling isn't just a marketing technique. It's the art of showing the human side behind your product or service. Robert Kiyosaki didn't become famous only for writing books on investing. He became a global brand because his rich dad, poor dad stories resonated deeply with readers, making them see themselves in his journey. How to apply this strategy immediately? 1. Identify your core story or mission. Why did you start? What defining moment pushed you to commit to this path? 2. Attach your product or service to a bigger meaning. Don't just say you sell soap. Say you help women feel confident every day. 3. Share your journey authentically. Avoid over-polishing. Customers don't need perfection. They need truth, relatability, and empathy. 4. Practice storytelling across all touchpoints, whether in videos, posts, emails, live streams, or direct conversations. Treat every interaction as a stage to evoke emotion. The right story, told at the right time, can transform an ordinary person into an inspiring figure. It can help you sell products that even wealthier or more skilled competitors might fail to sell. You don't need a massive brand, huge capital, or a large team to begin. But you do need a genuine story, told in a way that moves people. Bonus, leveraging vision and curated insights. Market trends shift, technology evolves, and consumer behaviors rotate in cycles. If you rely only on your own limited perspective, you will always trail behind. But if you borrow the vision of industry leaders and tap into pre-filtered insights, you can make faster, smarter, and more profitable decisions. How to apply this bonus strategy? 1. Select 3-5 leaders or organizations in your field. Follow pioneering startup founders, market research firms, or thought leaders. 2. Track quality information sources. PSE, subscribe to industry reports, economic newsletters, tech updates, and professional communities. 3. Engage in expert forums and private groups. Empaporum. Participate in discussions, ask questions, and challenge ideas to deepen understanding. 4. Use information aggregation tools. Set up Google Alerts, email newsletters, or RSS feeds to catch emerging trends before they peak. As Suse Orman advises, immerse yourself daily in quality information to strengthen your financial mindset and sharpen your ability to respond quickly to change. When you learn to borrow both the vision of leaders and the emotions of storytelling, you gain two of the most powerful assets in business: the ability to see ahead and the ability to connect deeply. Together, they can put you miles ahead of your competition. Closing thoughts. If you still believe that building wealth is a game reserved for those with money, connections, or an established foundation, I hope this video has helped you see things from a different perspective. No one succeeds alone. No one becomes wealthy by shouldering everything themselves. Smart entrepreneurs don't rely solely on their own strength. They leverage people, time, capital, technology, trends, even the adversities that once brought them down, to create systems that take them further, faster, and with greater stability. You don't need to wait until you have a fortune to start. All you need is the awareness to look around and begin leveraging resources the right way. The 11 levers you've just learned are not meant to be memorized and forgotten. They're meant to be acted upon. Choose the one that resonates with you most and start today. Now, I want to hear from you. Which leverage will you use first? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'll read every single one and respond. If you found value in this video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs it. Who knows, that might be the first leverage you give to someone else. See you in the next video, where we'll go beyond just talking about money and learn how to master life itself with the mindset of a winner.